everyone! Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Adobe Live. Thank you all so much for sticking around and hanging out with me and Ann. Big shout out to Jesus Ramirez for that wonderful stream. That guy is so talented and so knowledgeable and always manages to kind of cram so much awesome knowledge and information into one 30-minute stream. I'm super impressed. Well done. And I see so many familiar faces in the chat. I see Steve and Sam Peterson and Cisco. Michelle, welcome in. Anthony, hello. Richard, Tim, it's good to have you folks all here with us. My name is VooDoo Val, and I'm going to be your host for this awesome illustration segment that we are doing this morning with Ann Shen. How are you, Ann?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm super excited to jump back into what we've got planned for the day. But before we do, I'd like to do some housekeeping points. So as you folks know, we do have a Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge going on right now. And we are going to be taking a look at those entries at about the 30-minute, the last 30 minutes of the stream, rather. So if you folks are interested in taking part in the challenge, please click the challenge tab above the chat to get involved with us and post your challenge entries in the Discord, because we're going to pull that up and give you folks some feedback. And then I'm also going to take a look at the schedule real quick. We had Vector Art with Claudia from Print My Soul at 7:30 a.m. Pacific this morning. Claudia is awesome. Have you seen Claudia's workshop, Ann Shen? Have you seen her stuff?
I haven't yet. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, she is so cool. We had Jesus Ramirez on just before us, like I mentioned, doing the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Ann Shen is on with us now for some drawing and painting. Our good friend Andrew Hockrattle will be on after us for the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, followed by Alexis Bustos, who will be doing some Adobe XD workflows and pro tips. Howard Pinsky will be following up after that with the XD Daily Creative Challenge, and then we're going to round out the day with Alice Lee and her awesome Doodle Therapy segment. So that is going to be super, super fun. And I don't know, I feel like I have to point out, I don't know if anyone has seen some of the cool promos that Alice Lee has done for her Doodle Therapy show, but it's really cool. It's like animated, kind of classic Windows like the actual Windows for a Windows computer, with like the ancient Photoshop UI, which is really cool. So it's definitely check that out if you haven't already. It's super awesome. But now, without further ado, I would like to jump in to what we've got planned today, and maybe you can tell people a little bit about you for those of the members of chat who maybe weren't here yesterday, and then go over what the plan is.
Yeah, absolutely. I am an illustrator and author based in Los Angeles, and I am a full-time freelance illustrator. And then I also write and illustrate my own books that have been published by Chronicle Books. My first one was called Bad Girls Throughout History. It came out in 2016. And my second one is called Legendary Ladies, and it came out in 2018.
Nice.
And then today we are doing the second page for the connection theme for the Adobe coloring book. Yesterday we did one based on how we're connecting with our loved ones by sending care packages in the mail. And today I wanted to cover connection by how we're staying connected with our friends by playing games online, for those of us who are not traditional online gamers.
Oh yeah.
So some of them are board games and some of them are, like Animal Crossing. So I wanted to create our own version of a game board with all sorts of different characters and little scenes, and I'd love to get your suggestions on how that would come together, everybody in the chat.
Yeah, so definitely keep the ideas flowing in chat, folks. If you folks have any ideas for things that could be added to this illustration, definitely throw them in chat. Yasunari, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm glad to have you with us. Lizzie is here. Hello, Lizzie.
Hi, Lizzie.
I was wondering if that was somebody that you knew, because she's very excited to be here.
Yes, and she may have been on Adobe before. She's an amazing photographer.
Lizzie Darden?
Yeah.
Awesome.
She's an amazing photographer, so she may have done an Adobe Live before for photography. And if she hasn't, she should.
well, maybe. We have Seth Mikula in chat says, I feel like every one of these are therapy. That is awesome, Seth. We're stoked to have you here in the chat with us today. I see Jordan Crawford, welcome in. Drop89, welcome. And Anthony Jackson says, online video games and board games sounds like a lot of fun. I agree. I'm pretty into gaming myself, and we kind of talked about that yesterday. What did you say your game of choice at the moment is again?
Right now I'm playing Animal Crossing like most of the rest of the world.
Awesome. I feel left out. I don't have a Switch yet because they're like impossible to find right now. And it's like you can't even really buy them secondhand because people are like, well, I'm charging $800 for mine. And I'm like, I really want to play it, but not that bad. Yeah. I don't want to play it that bad.
Oh, no. You could play the Pocket Camp version on your phone. But
oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think it's free or maybe I'm not. I'm not sure.
Maybe I could do that, though. That sounds
that's
great.
A cute version. But you cannot do the online part where you connect with your friends and visit their camp,
stuff.
So yeah.
Well, I don't know, like we were saying yesterday, I don't know that it would be a good idea for anyone to visit my island anyways, because I doubt it would be much to look at. But
my gosh.
I'd have a blast with it, but I just don't know that it would be very organized, you know? Know what I'm saying, chat?
I'd love to hear what people are playing if they're also playing, games and stuff.
Jordan says Pocket Camp is free. Awesome. Maybe I will test that out. And yeah, chat, what are you folks playing? I've been playing, in lieu of Animal Crossing, I have been playing a lot of Stardew Valley.
Oh, I love Stardew Valley.
I love Stardew Valley so much. It is one of my most favorite games. I take it very seriously.
It probably scratches the itch. It scratches the itch.
Oh, definitely.
Same thing, for sure.
Definitely.
How are you playing it? Are you playing it on your phone or on your one of your systems?
I'm actually playing it. I was playing it for a long time on my PC.
Yeah.
But I got the iPad version, and so I've started playing the iPad version, and I'm farther along there. So I've been playing it that way, and it's really cool because I don't remember if you could do this in the PC version, but the iPad version you can zoom in and out, like you can zoom in and out like with a touch screen in Photoshop. Like you can like zoom into the map, or you can zoom way out and like see more land, and I love that. So that's what I have been doing.
How far are you on it?
I think I'm on like year 6. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, and I just finally finished all of the community center bundles.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty great. And I finally made my farm look nice. It took me 6 years, but I'm finally, like, everything looks nice. Like, I can actually invite my friends over, and my husband's not mad at me. That's basically...
Who's your husband in the game?
Sebastian.
Oh, nice.
Sebastian's my husband, the programmer.
Yeah. When I played along a couple summers ago, I married Elliot.
Nice.
The romance writer.
Mm-hmm.
with the shack on the beach.
I was going after Elliot for a time, and then he didn't like any of my presents because they weren't like expensive enough, and I was mad. And so then I started chatting with Shane, and I didn't like how Shane talks to his mom. So then I went after Sebastian, and everyone was like, "You're really taking this seriously," and I was like, "Do you not? Do you not take this seriously?"
It's pretty funny. I love it. I love that dynamic in the game where you're wooing people.
Oh yeah, it's real life decisions, folks. Real life decisions.
It really is.
What is your like favorite thing to do in Stardew Valley? Because I know everybody has like their own play style.
Yeah.
Some people like to just mine. Some people really love to do the farming. Some people like to like finish all the quests and things. Like, what would you say your go-to play style is in Stardew?
I loved farming. I loved farming. I loved watering my plants. I love planting new plants, and then and harvesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted a relaxing game where I could water and like make plants. I was actually too scared to mine, and I made my husband mine because they have like, bunch of
Amazing.
like demons and ghosts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, can you do this for me?
I'm gonna need you to go down into this mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to get me some ore because
Yeah.
I need it, but I don't want to.
I'm scared. Yeah, I don't want to get like hit by a bat or bitten by a bat or like a goo or something.
Yeah, not
so
my
that was my
jam.
favorite. Yeah, I loved planting. And was there like a part where you build your greenhouse too, right?
Oh yeah, you repair the greenhouse so that you can plant tons of stuff in it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked laying out my greenhouse.
Yeah, that was a favorite of mine. I liked, like, whenever it comes to any game, I am like, I have to complete every aspect of everything. Like, I can't, even when I was in the mines, like, I could not leave unless I made sure that I got every single bit of loot out of every, like, nook and cranny.
Yeah.
It was even hard for me to, like, not break all of the stones in each level. And I had to stop that because that's not realistic if I want to actually, like, you know, go through the levels.
How do you have enough energy to go through all of it before you get too tired?
So there's a part in the game, as some of you guys might know, where you get to choose whether you want to convert your cave on your farm to either be fruit bats or to be mushrooms. And if you convert it to grow mushrooms, then a mixture of one of every mushroom makes like health potions and stuff. So I just like stacked a bunch of those into my inventory and then kept going. And then you can also build like little stair things, so you can like place them and then go down a level real quick if you want to. So sometimes I didn't fight.
I don't think we can have mushrooms.
Sometimes I didn't fight. I just like dropped down several levels every once in a while to get the little, you know, the little milestones. Like every 5 levels you get a milestone on the elevator. So Tim says, is there a reason why you're drawing with red pencil?
No.
I just like it.
I like to draw in a different color or sketch in a different color. It feels less final, I guess, because I'm going to ink it in blacks because it's a coloring book. Yesterday I did blue, and we talked about how blue used to be the traditional color people would sketch in because it doesn't get picked up in scans. And then I'm just picking like a pink today because I love pink.
I feel like one of these squares, it would be cool if there was like a turnip, or if we don't like try to be super specific for like Animal Crossing, like a radish or something, because I love farming too, so that if I could add anything, I would add some kind of little radish or something. Does anybody else have any ideas for what could be added? Richard says, thanks for the ladder, Anne, because he had asked earlier if there was going to be any ladders.
I saw a request for a ladder, so we added a ladder. Let's do a radish.
Every time I hear somebody say radish, I just hear the voice from Spirited Away, like, oh great, the radish spirit. And the big radish guy gets in that elevator and is like, yo. Jacqueline says a mango, and Janine says Yoshi. Oh, I love Yoshi. Yoshi's precious.
Oh, so cute.
Welcome in, Gus.
Into a mango tree.
Good to see you, Gus.
Maybe it's an avocado tree. I don't know.
It could be.
We'll see.
It could be. Both are super good. I know some people have like a serious thing where they like cannot eat avocados, but like I love avocados. We talked about that yesterday. I think we both like avocados.
Avocados are great.
Yeah, Lizzie says maybe some flowers. I think that's a good idea.
Oh, of course. How did I forget flowers on this path?
Gotta get flowers.
I need some trials and tribulations. Like, what are some obstacles I can draw in here?
Huh, that's a good question. What do you guys think? I feel like all the things I would suggest are like too creepy for
I want to hear
everything. Because we could add like a bat or something.
Oh, that's not creepy at all. That's cute.
Okay, yeah, a bat would be cute because that's like a good Like, for a lot of games, like a cute little monster that's like not too disgusting, you know, that's just like, because there's some monsters even in Stardew Valley where I'm just like, this is not good to look at. I'm not down.
In the caves.
Francisco Paco says a mountain. That would be cool. You have to climb a mountain, a little mountain range. Could be awesome.
I'm gonna do a mountain range here.
Oh, a watering can could be cute too.
Yeah.
Darina says a beehive.
Oh, that would be scary.
Janine says a river with a bridge. Michelle says a lake. These are really cool ideas. Tim is quoting the Count from Sesame Street in the chat. One bat. Ah, ah, ah. Thank you, Tim. I'm glad that you are picking up what we're throwing down, because I totally was thinking of the Count and I was trying to be quiet about it, but now you've opened that Pandora's box and I can make the jokes. Clever says stepped in gum. That is definitely a trial and tribulation. Definitely. Helmut, it's good to see you. Long time no talk, my friend. Welcome back to Adobe Live. Also, I'd love to know as well, how many folks in the chat are new to Adobe Live today? And do you have any questions about what we do here? We are visiting with Ann Shen for a couple of hours today for this segment, and Ann is doing a really awesome kind of video game themed coloring page for the Adobe coloring book, and she's taking some suggestions from chat for video game related items that you folks might like to see in the illustration. So if you guys are curious and maybe want to get involved in that, definitely put some ideas into chat and let me know if you're curious about any other aspects of the show. Darina says, is this going to be an illustration for a board game? Don't know why, but I'm getting this board game vibe.
Yeah, we're doing a combination of a board game and the things you see inside video games. So we're kind of like pulling the best of everything and your best ideas just to make a cute, fun board game that would be fun to color.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of like video games and like Chutes and Ladders, which I'm super digging.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Tim says an ocarina. Yeah, like Ocarina of Time. I love this.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's the little round like egg like flute thing from The Legend of Zelda.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
I just learned like last year that Link is not Zelda.
Oh no!
Because I've never played it. And my husband was playing Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called, the newest one?
Yeah.
And I was like, so what's the point of this game? And he was like, you rescue the Princess Zelda. And I was like, wait a minute. What?
He's not Zelda?
I was like, that's not Zelda?
What?
This whole time, all these years, I thought he was the Zelda.
That's so funny. That's a common misunderstanding that a lot of people have though. So don't worry. Yeah, if you don't play it, then you don't.
Loop.
Then you it's well, because if you don't play anything and then all of the games are named something Zelda and it only has his face.
Yeah, you never see the princess. I mean, not on the ad of it. And so I was like, what?
Let's see. Janine says, this is my first Adobe Live and I love it. Already told my boyfriend how excited I was for this. Awesome, Janine. We're really excited to have you with us. Alberto says Majora's Mask, more Legend of Zelda stuff. Clever Devlin says a creepy house in a neighborhood. That could be fun, like a little haunted house at the end of the lane, you know?
I do love a haunted house.
Me too. Like you know those like the old Victorian style
God,
like haunted house.
That's my dream house.
Same.
That's all I want. There's not a whole lot of those that are within my budget in LA.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Are there a lot of Victorian houses up where you are? In
Yeah, there are actually. In fact, I mean, not always in places that I would like to live, because like for those of you who don't know in chat, I'm in Sacramento, and downtown Sacramento has a lot of really cute like Victorian-esque like townhouses, similar to ones that you might see in like San Francisco, like the really thin, super tall like houses with like the really decorative fronts. And then there's a lot of like super old, beautiful houses in like the Folsom area that are really cool. But I'm more of a country girl, and I like to live like super far away from city stuff. So a lot of those houses are like in the heart of the city, which is not really for me. But Asish says an alligator would be cool to add.
Oh yeah,
that's a great idea. Maybe by the river.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe right here.
Yeah.
Just gonna kind of scoot him in. I'll look up reference for an alligator in a second, but I'm working on my Victorian spooky house right here. Yeah, I love. You guys have the Winchester Manor.
Yes, we do.
House, mystery house, right up there. I want to visit when we can again.
I went one day and they were closed, so I got to see it. I got to see it, but I didn't get to like go in. And they have like haunted house tours and stuff.
That's so cool.
For it. Yeah, it's really neat.
You know, there's just now that we're in quarantine, there's so many things that I'm like, oh, I wish I did that. So now I'm definitely have to, because who knows when we're gonna have to, you know, maybe.
Oh, same.
Stay in again for a while. So.
I'm to the point where like I didn't really go out of my house ever anyways, but now that I know that I can't, I'm just like, man, I want to take a trip to this place.
Oh,
like...
I know, same. Since I freelance and I work full time from home, I have a nice studio at home. I never wanted to leave my house, but now I'm like, I want to be where the people are. I want to go outside.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba. Chat, sing it. It's your turn. Passing it over to you. Maybe somebody. I know at least one person's gonna pick it up. We gotta wait for the delay. As you can see, I come here for socializing. Yes, Seth. Yes.
Oh, so do we all, right?
Rodrigo says quicksand. That's interesting. Oh, I love the little ghosties. Oh, they're so precious. That's adorable. Oh, Brandon says, getting more of an Animal Crossing Stardew Valley vibe, gotta add fishing to the mix. Ooh, yeah. I used to be, like, allergic to fishing in Stardew Valley because it was such a weird learning curve to, like, try and get it.
It's pretty hard.
It's not an easy thing. And then I went to there's, like, the ice fishing thing, the festival they do in the winter. And I was so determined to like win all of the little things every year that I like practiced for a whole game year, practiced fishing and won it.
Oh
and
my god.
I'm like a self-proclaimed Stardew Valley fishing queen now.
I love it.
I won't let anyone take the title for me. Yeah.
You had a goal, now you achieved it.
Oh yes.
I love it. I felt bad about fishing in the beginning because I'm like, oh, I don't want to catch all these fish. Even though they're not real.
I love fishing in real life, so I was like really determined to like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. And then when I realized how much harder it was for me than like fishing in real life, like I was like so bummed out about that. I was like, really? I could go to the lake right now. But
yeah. This is like, have you been to Disneyland?
I have, yeah.
When I was little, I lived near Disneyland, and you like do Autopia, and I asked my mom, is it this hard to drive in real life? Because forget it, I'm not gonna do it. And she's like, no.
Not gonna do this if this is what's in store.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, it's so exhausting to press the pedal. And she was like, no.
Gus says he's coming to get me for the fishing title. Yeah, Gus is big into fishing. I don't know, Gus. I'm the fishing queen. I wear a little hat. I wear a little purple fez in Stardew Valley as my fishing crown. I don't know if you can top that. So we'll see. We'll see, kid. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I love this friendly competition.
Yes. It's all love, but I am gonna win. Seems like iPad stuff. What do you mean, Richard? Janine says, as a lifelong resident of Florida, we approve of your alligator. Awesome.
Oh,
I'm like not, I've seen those videos of like people waking up in the morning in Florida and there's just like an alligator trying to get in the house, and I'm like, no thanks.
No.
I'll maybe visit Florida, but I don't know about being there with the alligators.
Yeah, are they friendly?
No.
When they're trying to do that? No, they're trying to engage you. Okay.
They hiss and it's all bad. It's all bad.
So it is not good news when it's
I don't think so.
Trying to come in your house. Okay.
Janine would probably be like a much better judge of that. I might be a little biased, like, against cold-blooded giants, but I just don't. They look like dinosaurs. They sound like dinosaurs. They eat like dinosaurs. I'm not really into it at all.
They're definitely dinosaurs that
in
walk
caps. Janine screams, "No, they are not. They are not friendly.
Okay.
Don't do it. Don't do it."
Well, I'm glad I learned that as a lifelong Southern California girl.
Yeah. They're real cute when they're tiny, though. They make like little kitty cat noises. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I saw, what was that horror movie from the 80s or 90s? Alligator? Yeah, I've seen it. I'm not getting a little one.
Mm-mm.
They get big.
They do get real big.
Let's see.
Speaking of like crocs and gators, though, San Francisco is the home of a really interesting gator. I think he's a gator. I recently went to the Academy of Science. And I'd never been there before, and I have, like, you know, as artists do, like, we collect tons of, like, images of reference and stuff over the years, and I had collected reference for, like, dragons of, like, different lizards and things.
Oh, cool.
And I realized when I went to the Academy of Sciences that one of the gators that I had tons of reference for is, like, a resident of the Academy, and his name is Claude, and it's an albino gator.
Oh my god, it's like you met a celebrity.
Yes, I was freaking out. Not even the kids were excited as me. They were kind of looking at me like, yeah, they were looking at me like, can you be quiet? Maybe? And I was like, no, I can't. I love Claude. Claude's the man.
That's so cool.
But if you guys are interested in seeing like a really cool looking gator, check out Claude, because he's like Snow White with red eyes. And
do you know how he got there? Do you know how he
No idea. No idea.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I thought he was so cool, and they have like this enclosure where you walk in and you look down into the gator pit, and it's like a swamp there, and there's like fish in the water with him, and there's like snapping turtles and stuff, and then you can go underneath and you can look like below sea level. And like look into the water. It's so cool. It's so neat.
That's so cool. I want to go there. I've actually never been there in all the times I've been to San Francisco.
I went the one time, and I've been wanting to go for many years, and when I finally did it, I can honestly say it was absolutely worth it. It's a really awesome resource too for artists looking for reference and for like doing like life drawings and stuff of animals and creatures.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's super, super cool. It's time to make mythology for Claude. Yeah, oh yeah, we gotta definitely do some lore for Claude, for sure. I feel like he's probably albino because he's moon touched. He's super magical.
Oh,
he's got like moon magic. I just made that up off the top of my head. I'm gonna run with it.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
I love that.
we're gonna write a story for Claude.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Moon touched. I love it.
He seems like he's like super chill, because he didn't really move. He didn't really move when I saw him. He looks like he was just like kind of napping the whole time. But I feel like he's like waiting dormant till he's called upon to save the world again. He's way older than he seemed. Yeah, again. None of us are old enough to remember the last time he saved our butts, but he does. He gets it.
Yeah.
He knows.
He never shuts up about it, honestly.
The snapping turtles are sick of him.
Yeah.
Totally sick of it. It's like a Toy Story effect. As soon as all the humans go home, he's so loud.
He's like, and then there was that time.
Yeah. Remember that one time where you guys were really upset and I was like, don't worry, I got you, fam? And they're like, yes, we know, Claude. Creative Cloud. Tim.
I'm trying to find a place to put a bat. Let's see.
Maybe by the haunted house.
I know. I'm like, how do I not do that? How do I not impede on the little ghosties? Maybe I'll move the mountains over. Literally moving mountains this morning.
Hey.
Okay.
All right, folks. I'm keeping an eye on the time. We have got maybe an hour before we jump into the challenge feedback segment. So if you folks have not yet done the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, please check out the challenge tab above the chat. You guys will get like a little brief explanation of what we're doing today. You will be able to download some starter files and stuff, and then join the Discord and post your submissions into the current challenge channel, because Ann and I are going to pull up the Discord during the last 30 minutes of the stream, where we're going to go over your awesome entries and take a look at your work and give you some feedback.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him.
Jordan Crawford says, gotta go, but I'll be back later. All right, we'll see you then. I'm really excited for today's challenge. I'm going to pull this up just so that I can read it for you. It says, imprint your face on a custom metallic coin using filters and vector shapes. So that sounds awesome. I would love to see all of your wonderful faces on metallic coins.
Yeah.
So definitely check out the challenge. That's a good one. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I want to see all your faces in metallic.
You guys, like, metallic and looking extra presidential. So, like, put yourself on a quarter, you know? That'd be funny. There was a different startup screen this morning for Photoshop. Awesome. Let's see. I'm kind of scrolling through here just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Gus says, Val, you gotta check out my Animal Crossing house. Is it just like a little fishing bungalow? That sounds very Gus. That sounds super Gus.
Did you commission statues of fish to be made so you could put them all over your house?
I recently found... I didn't know that you could, like, bring images in to make your own, like, posters in Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw somebody's house, the inside of their house, the walls were just plastered with pictures of Star Wars characters, and I was like, oh no.
Wow.
Well, that's it for me, folks. This is where I'm gonna be, like, draining all of my free time, just making weird posters.
So creative with it.
It's awesome.
I am not, again, I'm just, like, planting flowers and picking fruit in my Animal Crossing. I haven't made anything like that.
I was the same way for a long time in Stardew Valley, where, like, nothing I was doing was really efficient. You know, like, I hadn't updated my watering can in forever, and I was just showing up every morning watering one square at a time for, like, half my farm, and then wondering why.
I don't need a sprinkler system.
I was like, I'd get done watering my plants at 5 p.m. and wonder why I miss all the parties. And I'm just like, come on, Val, organize your time. So I finally made, like, my farm efficient, and now I'm, like, really snooty about it. Like, I'm really like, oh no, don't put that plant there. No, that doesn't go with the other shades and hues of flowers that I'm working with in this area. It's not how this is going to work, folks.
I love that.
That's it. I'm going to start playing Animal Crossing. Good on ya, Anthony. I've turned my vector art into paintings in Animal Crossing. That's awesome, Janine.
Okay, that's really cool.
And Gus can confirm he does have a fishing bungalow. I knew it. I so knew it. Very Gus. Nice weather starting to arrive at long last in the northern UK. Yeah, I don't know how things have been in your neck of the woods, Anne, but here in Sacramento, it was really hot for a while, and I actually, like, I have like a little blow up pool, it's like 2 or 3 feet deep. Like, you can't swim in it, but, like, I can definitely get in, like, a little inner tube and, like, float around in this pool. I actually pulled the pool out and, like, got in the pool. Yeah.
That's actually pretty big.
Yeah.
If you can put an inner tube in it and then float in it.
The whole thing doesn't blow up. It's cool. It's like you fill there's a ring around the top edge that you blow up. And then you start filling it with water, and as the water fills the pool, the ring that is like the top lip of the pool starts to float on the surface of water, so it all fills up, which is
cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. So I actually pulled the pool out and filled it up and got in the pool because it was so hot. And then for the last like almost 2 weeks, we've had thunderstorms every other day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, it rained here yesterday in LA, which was very weird because it was also like 98 degrees for all of last week.
That. I hate it when it's hot outside and it's raining. Everything's like weird and humid, and the pavement.
It was really cold yesterday, which is a nice relief. But
yeah, last like almost 2 weeks have been actually chilly. Like I had to put like sweats and like jackets on and stuff, and I was like, where did my summer weather go? I thought we were getting like summer early. What's going on?
I would like to actually just have spring, like a nice 75 degrees would be nice.
I'm like ready to have like good hiking or camping weather. That's what I want.
When's the best time for that? What's the best weather for that?
I would say like I haven't been camping in a while, but the time that we always like usually went was like July. You know, like hot July time, you know, because like it's hot, but like if you camp in a forest, everything's really nice because it's like cool but also warm, and it's like the kind of weather where like it's not too hot, but it's also not chilly enough even at night where you have to put a jacket on. Everything is just really like a great temperature.
Nice, yeah.
That's my jam.
Aw.
Also, I want to do a quick reminder for any of you who might be over in the YouTube chat. We are actually reading the chat over on behance.net/live. So if you're on YouTube right now, there should be a link posted in the YouTube chat for you to come hang out with us over here. Click that link and come hang out, because Ann and I really would love to hear from you and chit chat with you about your favorite kind of weather and your favorite video games and all that stuff. So summer in Sacramento is brutal. Don't rush it. Oh yeah, I know. I'm kind of like, I want it to be here because I'm sick of the cold, but I kind of know subconsciously that once it gets here, I'm gonna be like, winter, where are you? I need you back. Winter, come back. You can blame it all on me. I'll probably actually sing that song. I probably will. I typically use that song with a changed name for various sad situations whenever I need to. That's my go-to. Very musical in this house. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're any good at it, but very musical.
You know what? It brings joy either way, so
yes,
it doesn't matter.
Agreed.
I'd love to hear what other games people are playing, or any cool board games I should check out. I'm always looking for new board games.
Dorina says, is there standard sizes when you're making illustrations for video games or board games? I'm sure there's standard, like, print sizes for specific games. I know if you're gonna paint anything and you're gonna print anything, you typically want a minimum of 300 dpi resolution, because that's the standard for print. But where video games are concerned, that really does depend on the specific project you're working on, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Alan says, kind of weird watching this not on Twitch. I know. Tim coming in with the Kappa emo. Yes. Once I draw a path and stroke path with the brush, how do I turn off the annoying blue line of the path so that I can see if I like the brush I used? For me, Sig, if I'm using like the path tool or the shape tool or something, I typically just click onto another layer, because then it won't be highlighted anymore. That's just like what I do naturally. Some people might have a different method of doing that. But yeah, I just click onto a different layer to look at what I've got, I think you can also hide the guides. I don't know if Control H works for that. You can try that. I know it works with selections. I'm not sure if that works with paths and things. But you could try that. And if I find that I really do like what I have, then I just move on to another layer, and then I usually will like group things together and convert it to a smart object. So then if I want to transform it all together, I can do that. But then if I want to go back to all of the smart objects that I was working with previously, you can just unpack that smart object out of the smart object group. And they will all be separate once again, which is really cool. I think Photoshop should include a history which shows your brush size and other info. I believe it does have a history panel in the I think it's panels above.
It doesn't show your brush, like your previous brush sizes though, right?
No, I think it just shows
what tool you were using.
Yeah, what tool you're using.
Yeah.
In the brush panel, however, when you are clicking, like you kind of have right there in the brushes, it does show the size your brush was when you switch to brushes there. So like it shows that little line of your previous brushes. If you click those instead of clicking into your brushes, it actually does go back to the brush size you had that brush on. Like just above the little size slider.
This
right
one?
there. Or I'm sorry, not above, below. So that little row of brushes right there. Yeah, so you can see it has the number. So if you were to if you were to select, so that's just like that many like previous brushes and settings you used.
That's
so
if cool.
if you actually click on those instead of just going back to the brush, instead of it defaulting to the default brush's size for that particular brush, it will change it to the size that you were using most recently.
Okay, I just learned something brand new today. That was awesome.
Is there a standard size or page number for coloring books? I want to make my own. I think when it comes to that sort of thing, it depends on what kind of book you're using. There's a lot of different standard sizes for books in general, and it just depends on what size you want your book to be. Maybe you have more experience with that than I do, Anne. Is there like a standard coloring book size or?
No, I think that, like you said, it just depends on if you're doing it through a publisher, I'm sure they would give you what they do. But what I'm doing is just 8.5 by 11 since we're giving people downloadable pages. So that's the most standard size that everyone has at home. That's like letter size.
Yeah, so they can print it on like computer paper, essentially.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you're making one right now that you want people to be able to download, and which is, really nice to be able to do that right now since shipping is very up in the air.
Yep.
8.5 by 11 would be what I would do, because most people have that size.
Gotcha. That's a good idea. All right, we've got about 45 minutes till we do the challenge feedback segment. So again, if you guys have not checked out the challenge tab above the chat, please do. We are doing some awesome custom coins, metallic coins today. That sounds super fun. So if you are interested in joining the challenge and getting involved and participating, post your entries into the Discord, because Anne and I are going to be pulling that up towards the end of the stream and taking a look at everyone's work and giving some feedback. I'm going to pull up this landing page real quick. A lot of my stuff sells in the UK and Australia, so I have to work with A4. Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't even think about that. You're right. Whatever the standard printing.
Yeah. I didn't think about that either. So yeah, there may be, I would say just look up the standards for printing in your country and see what, like, Because, I mean, technically, I think that you can pretty much do whatever size and shape you want. But I think, as a good rule of thumb for business in general, you should also take into consideration what the general target audience for your product is going to expect. Because you could make a coloring book that's like 4 feet tall and 6 feet wide if you really were determined, but like, who's gonna buy that? You know, you'd have to really kind of do your research about what kind of people typically buy coloring books and what are the sizes of coloring books that they usually buy, and you know, what do people expect from that kind of product, and then go that way. But you can also, I think also, like, don't be afraid to like be a little bit different, because I've seen some like pocket coloring books which are cool. You could just fits in your back pocket, and if you because I know a lot of people do coloring pages sometimes to help calm anxiety and things, and so I've seen like some little emergency coloring books before that are really tiny, that you can carry like in your back pocket, like I said, and they're small and they're easy to like carry like in a purse or something, which is cool. So it's that, you know, depending on the kind of product that you're looking to market or the purpose for your coloring book, you may want to look into different sizes. Like, there's a lot of really unique ways that you can go with it. But it's really up to you in the end, I think.
That's great advice. Market research is always a big part of everything I design, because I do want it to be super user friendly.
Yeah, I think I actually learned a lot about market research and like better understanding the steps that one should probably take when it comes to kind of creating a product, from watching a lot of the UI UX streams we have here on Adobe Live, and just like listening to designers talk about like user testing and community research and things like that. It's kind of opened up my eyes a lot.
That's all they do, right? That's like, I mean, not all they do, but that's a huge part of UI
definitely a big chunk of it. And I mean, as somebody who illustrates, I feel like I never added those steps into my usual routine, which when I realized how valuable it was, I was like, why haven't I been doing this all along? Because I like to do conventions and things a lot, and I make a lot of products for like to sell in person, like at a small storefront, you might say, you know.
I did the same.
You know,
I used to do the same thing. And it was so fascinating because the same thing, it's like I start learning how people interact with things, or how they would use it, or what they're gravitating towards for whatever reason. And it's so fascinating to see how people actually use your use your artwork, right?
And also like what is going to be the most practical size for like buttons or enamel pins, or like making the decision. I guess enamel pins is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but I haven't done it because I realized like it's not the same. I actually ended up investing in like a button maker, so I can like press my own buttons.
I love button makers.
They're so fun. And I usually have like, at a convention, I'll have several of each button design that I have made, like pre-made already, and then I'll just have like the items, like the recipe for each button in separate little drawers, so that I can make them on command. You know,
I love how creative that is.
I actually got one of those big things that you usually get for like organizing nails and screws. And on my table, I have like the artwork, like the circular painting that I've done for each button taped to the front. And so if people want a certain button, I just say like, which buttons do you want? And they push the drawer. So you like, if you push it, then on my side it opens all the drawers, and I know which ones they wanted, and I can take all the stuff out and make them. But it's not really like doing enamel pins is not like making buttons, where once you get the button maker, it's relatively cheap to produce the buttons. It's a much bigger decision for your business, so it takes a lot of like research to kind of decide, okay, what am I going to design for this? What are people going to want to purchase? Like, what are people looking for when it comes to enamel pins? What kinds of designs typically work well? And then on top of that, it's like, when it comes to actually producing these buttons, what's going to be the most cost-effective thing? You know, how many colors are you going to use? Are you going to do hard enamel pins or soft enamel pins? Are you going to add cutouts and all that stuff? And there's like so much more research that goes into creating products for conventions than I ever thought until I really started to get into it. And like I said, we're kind of listening to a lot of the UI UX designers talk about how they understand people has been really eye-opening. And that's why I always tell people, you know, if you're an illustrator, you're not going to only find streams on Adobe Live that you will enjoy by only watching the illustration streams. Like, we have so many different things here that have taught me like so many different taught me about so many different aspects of business from people that I like, because I would never think to like go look up a video on UI UX to teach me about business, you know, but I definitely learned it from that, you know, so it's really cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, I made enamel pins for a while I started in 2015.
Nice.
And it was quite a journey. And it was fun for a while. And then I kind of realized that I wanted to just move on from it because it was starting to become really saturated in the market. And also I was just dealing with a lot of like copycats in terms of big corporations stealing it.
That happens. Also, it's awful.
Yeah. It was another thing that I was like, oh, I just wanted to make some cool art stuff.
And then
this happened.
Great.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, it was really fun thinking about what does my audience want? What do I think is cool to make? And the intersection of that, right?
Yeah. Seth says, VooDoo Val, can you talk a little bit about how illustrators attend conventions? What part of your business that constitutes? So I cannot speak for a lot of different elements because I only know how things work in my state. And I also want to preface any information I give out about this by saying I am not a financial professional. And even though I live in California and I do things my own way, if you live in California and are looking to do conventions and things, please do not take my word for anything. Please do your own research and find a professional who could possibly help you decide how you're going to manage things. But for me, selling at conventions requires me to have a California seller's permit, which unless things have changed, is like a free thing. You can go onto the government website and apply for a seller's permit, and they issue it to you. You get like a seller's permit number, and you get a little permit that you can print out that says your name and your address and stuff. And usually, well, every time, unless things are not being run appropriately, when you go and purchase a convention table, and you go to set up your booth, when you check in to get your badge that says that you are a vendor for that event, they ask for your valid California ID, and they ask for a copy of your seller's permit, and they check to make sure that you are who you say you are, and it's legal for you to be selling things, because in California you have to pay a certain amount of taxes on whatever you're selling out there, and that's how everything is. You keep track of everything like that. When it comes to actually finding a place, I would say for your area, just get online and look up conventions coming up, or conventions in the area, and they typically have like a page that says like exhibitors, vendors, artist alley, where you can go and see when they start accepting applications for a convention. And a lot of places do it differently. So some places they do like a roulette system where everybody puts their information in and they randomly select people. Some conventions are a lot harder to get into, where you apply to be in, and a panel of judges will look at your art and decide whether they will allow you to table at their convention or not. But you basically go through all of those steps and then purchase a table. And they could be anywhere from like $100 to like a few $100. Some places I know are even like $1,000 for a really, really large space. Depends on what you're looking for. And most places will give you like one table of a certain size and like a couple of chairs. But some places do require you to bring your own table and your own chairs, or some people will give you table and chairs, but they won't give you a table cover. So it's a good idea to really plan out in your head how you're going to set up your merchandise. But you would, get your table, or get your permit, get your table, show up on the day. They usually have like a time at the beginning where you have to be checked in and you have to be there saying, I'm here claiming my table. Otherwise, usually they'll forfeit it and give it to somebody on a wait list. And you set up by the set time, and then you're there for the day, just kind of like sitting at your booth in the artist alley and selling your stuff. A lot of people get like little PayPal slider cards. Like I have a little PayPal thing that plugs into the headphone jack of my iPhone. And I open up my PayPal business app and people can slide their cards and things like that. And it keeps track of all my earnings and all that good stuff. And then you make a report at the end and fill that out on probably your government site to let them know how much money you made, and then you pay your taxes, and that's that. But it's pretty cool. It's a really interesting experience. I've only been doing this for probably since like 2015 is probably 2014, 2015 is about how long I've been doing conventions, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And it's actually not as hard as people think it is, I think, to get into one, sometimes. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I did conventions for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this year was actually the first year that I was not doing them. And then no one's doing them. So
yeah, I'm the same way. I'm actually, this is the first year that I'm like taking a break from it since I started.
Because it does get it's really fun, especially in the beginning, but it's very energetically exhausting because you're around a lot of people. For a really long time.
Yeah.
All weekend. It's almost like summer camp in a way. I've met a lot of great friends, artist friends through
Me
doing
too.
Especially in the beginning when I didn't have a whole lot of artist friends who were working like freelance or just kind of trying to do their own thing. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to meet other people who have the same kind of drive and interests, and then you get a lot of help and advice on how to run things in your business. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that community itself was really worth doing it for.
Yeah.
And like you said, there are a lot of different price points that make it easy to do it. Like some tables are only like, I think even at, I want to say, so I'm the same way. I only do conventions in California, and mm-hmm. I only do them in Southern California because I don't want to also pay for the travel fee,
mm-hmm.
Which is something to consider when you're doing that too. But even just doing WonderCon, which is part of Comic-Con, I think that I want to say the artist tables were only like $125. I actually started doing booths because I have so much stuff after doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, that's the point that I'm getting to. I do Sac Anime Con, which is mm-hmm. in Sacramento, and it's 2 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they typically, I don't know if it's changed, but I was really surprised. It was like $150 for a booth, and then it was like, I think it was like $200 and some for like the indie zone, which is a newer thing that they started doing, where if you have like your own IP, like maybe you've written a comic book or you've made a game, it has to, the rule is like it has to be like 90% original stuff. Like nobody can bring fan art to those really. And then you have like a 10 by 10 square foot area for
That's
all your stuff.
cool.
Yeah, it's really neat, but they're not really super expensive if you factor in, like, if you market well
Yeah.
and you're very cost effective when it comes to choosing your merchandise, and you have like a game plan set up, and sometimes you never know how it's going to go, but typically the cost of the booth is not so much compared to how much money you can make for the convention.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, even if you don't make money at your first one, that's totally okay to try another one.
Mm-hmm.
My very first show I did was Ape up in San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
the Alternative Press Expo. And I would attend shows, but I wouldn't really, I would say actually go to the shows you're thinking, once we can,
Mm-hmm.
go to the shows that you're thinking of doing
Mm-hmm.
and scout it out and kind of do some market research that way of like how people are set up, what you like, and pay attention to what you like and how you can adapt that to your own business. Don't copy other people, but like be like, oh, I like that someone had their own custom tablecloth, or I like a really big banner or something like that, to kind of figure that stuff out.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. But yeah, my very first one I was gonna say was Ape. It was in like 2011 I did it, and I made like $10. And I was like, well,
man,
that was fun. I was just like, oh, well, that was fun, but I'm never going to do this again. I had no expectations to make money. I was just like, oh, okay, I guess it's just a place to exhibit your work. And then I was like, well, I'm never doing that again, because that was like a lot of work for obviously not making any money. And then a friend talked me into doing a craft fair, Renegade Craft Fair down here, maybe a year later. And I made like $1,500. And I was like, oh, I'm actually supposed to make money at these things? I was like, oh, this is cool. This is more fun when I make money.
Yeah.
And then, obviously in the last few years, since I've been doing it for so much, I make a lot more money. But that's the thing, like, the more you do it, the more people recognize you. And like, especially with Comic-Cons, I find I stopped doing craft fairs as much, because I found Comic-Cons where you get a lot more people who are just genuine fans of art.
Yes.
Who like save all year to go and spend there. And it's so nice to connect with like real fans of art there.
Yes, that's a big thing, because there's certain conventions, I think, like, you do get a large majority of people who they have saved all year to come to this event, and so they are there, they're fans of art, and they're ready to spend money on cool stuff. So it's different than, like, because one thing is, like, a lot of people do come to SAC Anime, but a lot of times it's a lot of local people where it's there all the time, so you never really know what you're gonna get. At least in my experience, you never know how you're gonna do with that. But some of the more high profile places, you're right, it's the people have been saving for a long time, and they're on a mission to get like certain things, and they're ready to support you. They're ready to support artists and show their love for art. So
and I saw a question that was from Seth McCullough. That's, how do you guys choose your merch?
Ooh,
and I would
question.
say that's when having an online presence is helpful. Then you kind of see the trends in what people are liking and responding to the most in your work, and then you can kind of gauge from there. Like in the beginning, I was afraid to, well, not afraid, but when I started out as an illustrator, I didn't make as much mermaid fantasy-ish art, because I thought it wasn't as serious. That's coming out of art school and unlearning all of that. But I love mermaids, and so I started drawing I had my rebellious moment, and I was like, forget it, I'm just going to draw the things I'm
doing all the mermaids.
And then those are the things that were a huge seller for me, because I found my people, right? Like I found my audience.
And you had a passion for it, I think there's something to be said about that, like doing what people expect, or like really pouring like love and passion into something that you adore doing, and
a lot of it is going to be something you feel like, oh, no one's going to take me seriously if I'm doing this. But the truth is, like, I love now, I mean, that was 10 years ago when I was starting out, so like I love now there's so much space for everyone's passions. Like you can find people who, especially at things like these conventions and events. So I do miss them. I miss them too, actually. Like, even though this year I was like, I'm ready to take a little bit of a breather from it because it's so much prep work.
It almost feels better to have taken this year for a breather because
Yeah.
now I know I'm not missing anything, you know?
Yeah.
Because
You don't
that
get
was
the
how it was.
FOMO. And then
Yeah,
the
and
weekend comes, you're
I
like,
hate
oh
seeing
no.
everyone's pictures, and I like decided not to go, and I'm like, oh, you look like
Yeah.
you had so much fun.
Yeah, totally. Like every year I go to Comic-Con. I don't attend or I don't show at Comic-Con. I attend Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's really hard to get into Comic-Con because it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
You get on a wait list.
Yep.
And
It
yeah.
can be hard. I think
Yeah. Oh, and people mention like it is great for building connections and mailing lists. Yeah.
absolutely. I got really lucky the first time that I ever did a convention. A friend of mine, Panda, which you folks might recognize, she was on Adobe Live just recently for the design off. She actually, I met her one day, just like in life, like I just ran into her and we struck up conversation, and she ended up being really cool. And we exchanged numbers, and she messaged me out of the blue one day and just said, hey, I know that you don't know me very well, but I was sharing a booth with a friend of mine for Sec Anime, and he is sick now, and I have half a table that needs like content on it, and it would be free of charge for you because it's already paid for. Do you want to just come put your stuff out on the table and see what happens? And I was like, yeah, I'll try that. I'd never printed my work before. I'd never made like physical prints on my own. I just had like print stores on like Imprint where people can buy prints, but like I never touched them, you know? So it was kind of a weird experience for me, but yeah, I got some prints done at a local shop and showed up and put my stuff out on the table, and it was really cool because it was almost like a risk-free first experience diving into it, and it was really fun.
Yeah, especially if you're doing it with a friend.
Yeah, it was super awesome. And to go more into I think it was Seth who said how do you choose your merch. I think there's definitely a base list of things people do expect you to have at a convention. It kind of ties back into what we discussed before, which was kind of knowing what your audience is looking for. You know, you want to be unique and you want to stand out, but you don't want to try and reinvent the wheel when you're going into something, because there are expectations. I think there's just things people are familiar with and they're going to assume that will be there, and you kind of want to make sure that you keep that in mind. But I would say when I first started, all I had was prints, and I had the standard large print size for conventions is 11 by 17. Those are typically the size that you will see they're like the tall, long posters that people have. And a lot of people have larger posters than that. It's not uncommon to have larger posters. And a lot of people also do like a smaller size than that sometimes. But I just did 11 by 17 prints of like a handful of my paintings that I thought were the most popular. As Anne said, I had a social media presence, and so I asked people what their favorites were, and I looked on social media to see which of my paintings had like the most traffic and the most love online, and figured those must be my most popular, so I printed my most popular paintings. And then as I progressed through and started doing them more often, I branched out into, I usually have like 3 different sizes of prints. I have the 11 by 17. I have like a standard like 8.5 by 11 for some of my prints. And I also do like a postcard size, and I have like a little box people can flip through for like postcard sized mini prints. And sometimes I offer like a really popular print in every size, and sometimes I only have like older prints that I'm going to start pulling out of circulation, only available in the small size, and then whatever of the larger sizes I have left, you know, because you have to kind of start prioritizing your newer stuff and your most popular things. But I branched out into stickers. Some of you folks in chat may have won the Sticker Mule giveaway that we do every once in a while. So you folks, I know you folks are familiar with Sticker Mule. It's the only place I get my stickers. They're fabulous. They're incredible. I've literally never worked with a more incredible sticker company in my whole life.
Yeah.
So highly recommend them.
Me too. They have great customer service too.
Oh, fabulous customer service. And then, business cards is a good thing, but I have noticed a trend, and I don't know if people have been doing this for a long time, or maybe I'm just noticing it, but I did this at my last con that I did, and that was, I didn't have any more business cards. I usually get my business cards from Moo, which some of you guys also probably know about. Moo is like my go-to for business cards. But I did not have any business cards left from my previous convention for that con, because I found out that I actually got off the wait list and got into the convention when I didn't expect to, very, very close to the date. Like I had a couple of days to prepare. And I printed out on a piece of paper all of my social media, and I taped it to the top of my convention table, and it had a little sign next to it that said, social media here, please take a picture. And so people just snapped a picture of it on their phone, and I noticed I actually got a lot more follows on social media when people had it in their camera roll than I ever did printing business cards and giving them out, because the business cards were expensive for a while. Yeah. And when people had, like, you can lose a business card, but if you're, like, you know, sometimes I wouldn't get the follows and like the subs and stuff for a while after a con, but I think when people finally wind down from a convention and they're looking through all the awesome pictures they took, and then they find that picture of your social media in their camera roll, then they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow this person real quick, and they're already on their phone, ready to open social media and do that. Also, Tim just posted a link for 10 stickers from Sticker Mule for $1. So if you'd like to try, if you guys would like to try Sticker Mule stickers out, that is an awesome way to do so. So for $1, you can grab some of their stickers, custom stickers, by the way. You can upload a design for those 10 stickers and try it out. But that was cool. And then I got like a button maker, like I said, and I think it was like $150 for a button maker, and it came with enough items to make 1,000 buttons. And depending on how you price them, like there's no way you can't make your money back by the time you sell all your buttons. So I made buttons. So buttons, stickers, and then another really good idea, if you folks are doing conventions and find, maybe you've had this happen to you, Anne, where you print a lot of stuff, and then after a while you decide you might phase out a painting or something from your rotation, but you still have like tons of random sizes of that print left over, but it's not really enough where you want to put it on display and have it as like a main selling print that you're doing. What I like to do is I put together mystery bags.
I haven't done that yet, but that sounds really fun.
It's actually really awesome.
And do people really like them?
Oh yes. So typically what I do is I get like, sometimes I do them on purpose, where I'm like, I make things specifically for mystery bags, and then you can't get them unless you get a bag. But
I love that.
It's also a way for me to kind of offload merchandise that I just need to get rid of. So I'll put enough merch into a bag that amounts to like $20, and then I'll sell the mystery bag for $15 because you don't know what you're gonna get. And then as the convention goes on and gets closer and closer to the close date, I will keep marking it down cheaper and cheaper. But even though I mark it down sometimes to like as low as $10 by the end of the convention, I still made sure that I didn't spend more than $10 on the production of the merchandise in the bag. So you can kind of get rid of stuff in like a cool way, because there's fun in that, to like open a mystery package and like see what you get.
And who doesn't love a good deal?
So mystery bags, Anthony. I usually, what I do is I make like 10 mystery bags on purpose that are like large bags, and it has like medium-sized prints, it has buttons, it has stickers and keychains and stuff in it. that I've made. And then I have little teeny tiny mystery bags that usually have like a poster or a postcard size print, and then some buttons and keychains where I have so little of them I can't really make a display out of them, but I need to sell them so they don't just sit in the bottom of my convention box, you know? And I'm never gonna make them again, so it's also like a last chance to get like this limited amount of stuff that I have left. And it makes it's like a way of cleaning house in like a super I guess like a super appetizing way. Like it's really attractive kind of thing for people to want to buy. It's very fun, but it also really helps you out. Giving away secrets, Val? Nah, I don't know. I really never kind of worry about like giving away secrets, because I feel like if you got it, and no amount of me trying to hoard how I do things is going to stop you from shining if you got that thing, you know? So if I feel like if I can give you as much advice as I can give you, it's only going to make the process of you doing what you love easier than it was for me, and that's the goal here, right?
I love that attitude. I have the same. It's all about us rising together, not competing with each other. We're not competing with each other. We're only making this art thing. We're all just in this together.
Yeah. And I've had bad experiences with people who did not think that, and it was really hard to kind of realize that sometimes people you look up to, they're not like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I would like to be the kind of person that I wish I could have learned from when I first began.
Yeah.
And I also think that the stronger we are as a creative community, the better we make the world, and also the better we make the process of becoming a freelance artist or becoming an artist full-time for the people who come after us, you know?
I totally agree. And also, it's not a zero-sum game. Like, there's not just a certain set amount of success to be had in the world. There's so much for all of us. So
yep. And that's the thing, is that like you look, I think some people get like very I guess feel, what's the word I'm looking for?
I think a lot of it may come from insecurity.
Yeah.
Like, not just in themselves, but maybe just in their own work or in their own place or economically. And so none of it is personal, of course. Nothing, don't take it personally. We're all just working through our own stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, yeah, I've met people that now I learned hard lessons from.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely just keep that positive energy around you, and don't feel, and also, be mindful of your own boundaries, and don't let other people take advantage of you either, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah. So
it's very, very important. And I think when, like, we're so connected these days, it's really easy to look at how much art is out there and how many people are doing things that you might want to do. It's very easy to feel deterred from like kind of making your own stuff and making your own art and doing things the way that you want to do it. But I think that it's for me personally, it's been much easier to stay positive and to keep working and doing what I want to do, by instead of seeing it as a whole planet of competition, which it's hard not to see it that way sometimes, but instead of seeing it that way, see it more as like a whole community full of people learning lessons so that you can learn from their mistakes, and like a community of people who are kind of like, we're like walking so you can run, essentially, people setting trends and doing things that inspire you, and there's, just because you want to paint a magical girl with blonde hair and blue eyes and pixie wings, just because somebody else has done that exact same character doesn't mean you can't express yourself artistically and do something similar. Don't be discouraged because other people do things the way that you want to do them. I say anytime you find an artist that's doing the kind of art you want to do, that's not a bad thing. That's an opportunity to make a friend. Because clearly you're into the same stuff, you know?
Yeah. And also, no one is, even if you're making it the same way, even if you and I drew a magical girl with blonde hair like you just described, they're gonna look totally different.
Oh yeah, everyone's got their own flavor and pizzazz that they add to their art. It's not, you know, nothing is like exclusive to the very first artist who's ever worked on a particular concept.
And plus, like, everyone has a voice and a point of view that deserves to be heard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And can you imagine, like, all the masters back then if they were like, oh, well, Michelangelo already painted a ceiling with people on it, so
yeah,
I'm just
can't
never
do that.
Again. Yeah.
Can't do that. Dorina says, Val, do you give your design to Sticker Mule and they print the stickers for you, or do you get sticker paper and print and prepare them for conventions yourself? I send my design to Sticker Mule and Sticker Mule prints it. And let me tell you, if you've never used Sticker Mule before, this is the process. This is how it goes. You send your design to Sticker Mule, and they usually, for me personally, maybe this isn't for everybody else, but I mean, from what I've heard, all of my friends that have used it have had the same experience, but I send my art to them. They tell me that they'll get back to me in like 4 business days, and they usually get back to me within like a handful of hours, and they say, here's the proof, look over it. And it's always perfect unless I made a mistake on my file, at which point I will like do like a revamp of the thing and send it to them and tell them, yes, I approve this, please print it. And then I usually have it like within a week or two. But there's actually been situations in which I recently did a sticker, like a holographic sticker of my little jelly skull illustration, and I sent them the proof, and then I had to leave town unexpectedly. I didn't have my computer, I didn't have my iPad where I could edit the file or anything, and they edited it for me. They like went in and edited the file exactly how I wanted, like within an hour and a half, and then sent it back to me, and it was perfect. And I had them print it. It was awesome. Their customer service and everything is great.
Yeah, I always have them do my die cut.
Yeah, like just the die line for the die cut sticker.
Yeah, they'll do the die line. That's right. I used to be a packaging designer and I couldn't remember that word.
No, I've had them do that for me a few times too. It's very convenient.
Or like I've done my own and they're like, well, we redid it for you so it'll be better, like for optimal. And I'm like, yes, thank you.
Thank you. I did send them one die line one time. They're like, we did it better. And I was like, thank you, because I knew it was wrong, but that's the best I knew how to do at that time in my life. Because it's like,
I just want to draw. I don't want to be drawing die lines. And they let you do that, and it's great. But in the beginning, I have to say, I made a lot of my own stuff, like with my printer. I do have an Epson printer that I got because I needed one in school. So because I had that already, then I printed a lot of stuff on my own in the beginning because it was cheaper to just buy the paper, buy the sticker paper. So I would say, like, do what you can with what you have until you do better.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great advice.
Because I didn't know if I would be able to sell 100 stickers, right? Whereas now I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. Like now I definitely get things printed because I need 1,000 versus I would bring 5 of each thing in the beginning because I didn't know I could always print more.
And that's something I think is really important. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because one of the things that I really struggled with when I first started tabling at conventions was looking at everyone else's table they were like seasoned convention vendors and seeing all of the awesome different like they had like 10 different enamel pins and like 20 different keychains and 20 different buttons and all these different prints, and they had prints with like gold leaf and foil and stuff, and I was like, I want to do that, but it's not realistic, because if you actually do that for a first convention, you would spend so many thousands of dollars probably manufacturing all these things. It's just honestly my goal whenever I do conventions is I want to have at least a few new prints in circulation, and if I can manage it, one new kind of product. So that could be a new button, a new charm, a new pin, something new. And then by the time, like, if you do a handful of conventions in a year, by the time that year is over, you've got like 5 to 10 new products, and you know, and boom, there you go.
I used to also use them, like I would do conventions while I was working in-house full-time as a designer, just to give myself deadlines to create new personal artwork.
Ah, nice.
So it was a way for me to stay accountable, but also have it be for like a deadline. But yeah, like, you don't, also I find that the more I have enough stuff that I need a booth now, but I still find that I have like my top 5 things that make up maybe 90% of my revenue. Like, people like to look at a lot of stuff, but there's definitely stuff that sells the best always. And sometimes I would say like 50% of the time, I don't know what it's going to be. It's always a surprise.
I have like specific prints that no matter what convention I've ever done, they've always been super, super popular. And then, like you said, sometimes it's like totally up in the air and you don't know what's going to go on. Otherwise, yes. Actually, I'm going to interject in the middle of my own sentence real quick and say, Tim has just put in a reminder that we are going to review challenge submissions in about 5 minutes. This is true. So if you want to get feedback on your challenge entry, please post them in the Discord in the current challenge channel now, so that we can get, we can have those in and review them for you. But yeah, I have like several paintings where I sell them no matter what. They've aged very well. In fact, one of my most popular paintings is a painting I did in like 2013. And it was like...
That happens with me too. And I'm like, oh, I want to retire it because I could do so much better. Like, my very first mermaid is still my best-selling mermaid. Even
and you're like, why?
I'm like, oh, it's 10 years old and I want to retire it. But I still... I'm really grateful that it's still, people still really like it.
Yeah.
And we're always the hardest on ourselves because we're like, oh, I could do better. But there's something about that certain pieces that you just can't recreate. But yeah, I was also going to say I get my business cards and card backings and stuff through Got Print.
Okay.
And they are, I don't know, just to offer another alternative, they're really affordable.
I've never used them before.
Really nice, yeah, they do really nice quality cards. They're actually local here in LA, so you can pick up your cards.
Oh, nice.
You have to pay for shipping if you're local.
Nice,
which is really nice. And I've always had a really good experience with them too. Just to offer another alternative to look into.
Yeah, that's great.
Price compared with Moo, but yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That's good to kind of get everybody's options out there. Yeah, another really great place that I have found, I recently did my very first run of gold leaf prints, like limited edition prints. And that was so much fun. I went to a place called Cat Print, and I thought I was gonna have to pay like
Cat Print before.
So affordable. I thought I was gonna have to pay like hundreds of dollars. I did not.
Really small runs, like 10.
Yeah, I think I only paid like $60 and I got 40 11 by 17 gold leaf prints. And I don't know if the prices are the same as when I did it, but I was so impressed by the prices and the quality and the customer service. And they also do this really cool thing where if you submit work that has a cat in it, then you get entered into like this this like drawing where they do like a raffle. So of all the cat related stuff that's submitted to Cat Print for the month, somebody gets chosen, and a print of that cat painting or illustration or whatever it is gets sent out in everybody's order for the next month with your social media printed on it. Yeah, so if you do like a painting of a cat and you send it in and it gets chosen, then everyone for the next month will get like a little mini print of that print of yours, and it has your Twitter and your Instagram and stuff printed on the back so everyone can follow you, which is so cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Really cool. A really good way to get your artwork out.
And I don't want to promise that to anybody. As far as I know, they're still doing that, but times are different, so things might have changed. But I just think it, like, they're even super cool just for like doing a thing like that. That's just cute and neat.
That's such a cool way to support the artistic community. I also use now I do use an outside printer for big runs, and they're called Digital Lizard.
Oh, that's cool.
They're
Cool name.
all animal themed, I guess.
Cat
These
print and
printers.
digital lizard and moo
But
and sticker mule.
yeah, but they're all definitely. It's like a much more affordable price point than obviously when I was starting out 10 years ago. It was harder to find printers that would do that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's great. Let's look at some of the comments. I'm seeing some really good questions.
Yeah, you go ahead and check out those if you want. I'm gonna transition over to our Discord real quick though, because we are going to jump in and look at some of the things. Yes. Right. So I'm gonna pop over here. Let me grab our display. Boom.
Someone said, anyone see a face in the treetop on the right? I do. I see it now.
Actually, I'll pull it up so you can zoom in so we can see it if you wanna.
Yeah.
A little face.
Kind of like a derpy face, maybe.
Oh yeah, I see it. That's awesome. It's like,
yeah.
All right. Here let me pull this up. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh no, it's okay.
Okay, so. Do you have the Discord up so we are both looking at it?
Yes.
So in the current challenge channel on the left-hand side is where we're going to look.
Creative challenge, right?
So I'm going to start. I think we only got one for today's challenge, but we have a lot of other new ones that did come in today. So we'll just kind of look through what people have submitted. So we've got this really beautiful text here from Shara that says challenge number 5 with some improvement. This is really cool. It's like I love the picture you've used as the background and like the pattern with like the metallic ring around your text. Do you have any feedback that you might want to offer to Shara?
No, I think it looks great.
Yeah, I think you could even make the text pop a little bit if the only thing I'm seeing is that your background is beautiful but very busy, and the text is beautiful but also very busy. So I would say maybe tone down one or the other so that you can really see the work that you have put into it, if that makes sense. This could be maybe adding a filter to the background so that it's a little softer so people can see the beautiful work you've done for the text, or making the text either the pattern maybe softer, or you could sample some colors from your background to make it all blend all together a little more. But I think it's beautiful. I think you've done a good job.
Sometimes I will do like a little soft drop shadow or an outer glow around words or letters so that it'll subtly pop more, but you don't even see the shadow. Like the opacity is like 20 or something.
Yeah, like an outer glow with a bright color can really pull it from the background. Yes, that's a great idea. That would be a great thing to test out, Shara. But thank you for participating.
Thank you.
Let's see. MB has posted the coin. This coin is worth $2.50. Awesome. This is so cool. That's a very specific
number.
Yes. I love this. It really does look like a metal engraving on this coin. Yeah. This is really neat.
That's so cool. It's a very detailed looking engraving, so you did a great job translating that.
Yeah, that is so neat. Very well done. I would even love to see like a shine across the face of the coin to make it look maybe a little more realistic. The way across. Yeah. That would be super cool, but that's neat. Let's see, we got Z-Gub says, could be better, but it's a start for this Ruby Tuesdays thing here. This is cool though. I mean, I mean, do you have anything you'd like to offer on this one, Anne? I don't want to just like jump in and talk all the points.
I like the way that it looks like a ruby, and I feel like you could push that even more inside the letters, and then maybe if you made the glows even bigger on all the little dots you have on the letters, if you made the glows bigger, is that right? Or
you could even like you could actually apply blending modes to them, maybe like a color dodge or something to make it shine, because they're bright but they're not really shining to me. So that could be it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that looks really cool. I do like that texture. It does look like a ruby. A cool thing that also could be neat to do is if you took like a soft round brush and on like a color dodge blending mode and tapped into some of those areas on the underneath of the letters where it's dark, just to brighten like some of those red spaces, might make it look even more ruby-esque too.
Yeah.
Just to add some
suggestion.
red glow. But that's really nice, man. I like it. I think you should give yourself more credit for this work.
Yeah.
Let's see. Helena with the beautiful sign.
Beautiful.
I'm like really impressed with this interesting pattern that's going around these letters here.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It looks like electricity.
Yeah. Or like the like holiday lights almost.
Oh yeah, it does.
But I'm not sure. It's cool though.
I like that effect.
Yeah, and it looks like a lot of people don't do a lot of times, which it looks like Helena might have actually done today, is when you do an outer glow, you can actually go into Photoshop and change the contour of that outer glow so that you are not just making a soft glow around the edge. And these lines that I'm seeing around the whole of the word beautiful here, it looks like it's a different contour setting. So Helena, I would love to know if that is what you did, and if not, maybe if you like this, you would also like to experiment with the contour settings. And those of you in chat who maybe didn't know about the contour settings, I urge you to try it because it actually is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. I didn't know about that, so that's cool. I'm definitely gonna try that.
Yeah, you can get it to do like more than one ring around, and sometimes you can actually make a custom contour. It's the same thing as like making a crown molding shape.
Yeah.
You know, like that, and you can have the glow contour to that molding that you make, which is really interesting. So very well done, Helena. Did you want to offer anything extra on that one?
No, it looks
Ann?
great. It looks like a neon sign to me.
Yeah, me
cool.
too.
Yeah.
Very cool. And the next one we have is from Duval. This is cool.
Ooh, it's bling.
Yeah, very
I love
blingin'. I'm digging it.
Yeah, it looks like metal, like metal engrave or embossing.
Yeah, it almost has like a interesting, like that interesting kind of crackle effect in middle. It's like metal, but also could be like glass or crystal or diamond. Very interesting.
I like it. It's very eye-catching.
Yeah, definitely. The embossing is also interesting because it has like you might have applied a texture to the emboss setting too, which is cool. That's neat.
Yeah, I like the distressing. It looks good.
Yeah, that looks very interesting.
Yeah.
Well done, Duval. And then we've got 360 Virtual Tour. Says, I can see I still have an opportunity for my text effect to post here rather than in the past challenges. So he's posting the can't remains. This is cool. It looks like there's like a kind of an abstract portrait behind.
Yeah, I definitely see a face.
Yeah, like it could be, it looks like Jon Snow to me, but I don't know if that is who that is.
It does look kind of like Jon Snow. I can totally see that. Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit, but I might just be a nerd. That's also totally could be a thing.
Not a bad thing.
Does it look like an album cover to you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to see what the it looks like there's type inside the letters.
Inside of the letters.
I'm wondering what that says or what those symbols are.
I'm not sure.
It adds another layer of meaning, so I like that. If it was an album cover, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Very well done. That's super cool. I would almost like to see what it looks like because I like that it looks like you added an outer glow and you also toggled on the noise option too, so it has like noise, which I think goes very well with like the concrete kind of vibe texture you have in the back. I would almost like to see what it looks like with like a much darker outer glow, like a darker gray or darker black to see.
I was gonna say this blue feels very soft compared to the prettiness of the image.
I feel like a black or a dark gray might blend a little bit better, maybe. But obviously it's up to the creator, and that's just a suggestion maybe you could test out. But well done. Nice work.
Yeah, good job.
Let's see. Okay, so this one up here, I think that this is from, no, maybe it's not. Maybe it is from submitted today. But this from Shaseth. It looks like he photoshopped out the entire person from this, and I love that he must even have gone in with the shape tool and gradient tool to add the empty areas for the inside of the pants and the socks and everything and the shirt, and that is just such a cool thing. Also very really album cool. Cover.
Yeah, I like that the one without the person says parental advisory explicit. It has that sticker on it. That's cool.
It has like, it looks like you put like a soft kind of plasticky texture over the whole thing here too.
I love it.
Yeah, very cool, very unique. And then we have the original here as well. So we can kind of see.
It's cool to see the before and after. I love seeing before and afters.
Yeah, I honestly, folks, anytime you do like one of these challenges where you can you're doing like photo editing or something, I like personally always love to see your before and after images, because it really helps the community and anyone who's watching the stream reviews get a good idea of the work that you did, you know? Because we don't always know where you started from, so sometimes it's hard to tell which places you edited. Obviously, this is like, we get that you removed this whole guy out of his clothes, you know, so we know what work you did here, but for other projects that might not be as obvious, it's always great to see a starting point. So thank you for including that. I'm gonna go down to the very bottom again, because I got a thing that says new message, and I want to see if somebody else posted a, it looks like we got... Oh, and it's from our friend Van Dam. So Van Dam is 10 years old. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yes, him and his sister Lee, I believe, they watch the stream every once in a while, and they're really awesome. And they do these challenges a lot and showcase their skills. And I don't know them personally, but I'm so proud of them.
I can't believe a 10-year-old did this. This is amazing.
Yes, you guys are doing so well. Is this, I wonder, Van Dam, if you're in chat, is this a picture of you that you have used?
I hope it is.
That's super cool. Very intense stare there. Very cool. Very determined young man.
The whole coin.
It's $2
It's
coin.
like $2, and it's like, think about it before you spend it.
Yes, and he's got his designer
custom
headband. Yeah, he's got his Van Dam designer VD insignia on there, which is super awesome.
That is so cool.
I also love that this coin is like at an angle. I think that's really neat.
I was just gonna say that. I love seeing the edge of it and that shine right there, so it really looks like a coin.
Yes, Van Dam is in the chat. Welcome, Van Dam. It is really good to see you. Thank you so much for participating. This is awesome. Yes, thumbs up for Van Dam. He says, yes, it is his picture. Awesome. Well done. And I'll scroll back up and we'll take a look at another couple of things here, even though they are not from today. And then maybe we'll do like a quick recap and go over what you did for the day before we take off. So we can look at these last two here. This one from Neil Kelly, day 5.
Sparkle.
Yeah, this sparkle is great. This is awesome.
Yeah. I'd love to see the gems or the rhinestones inside the letters to be maybe even smaller, so it feels even more dense with sparkly.
Yeah, I might even, if possible, just because the pattern that you're using for this is it's so unique in that you could probably make this look even more realistic with the particular one you've chosen. If you do what Anne suggested and make them much smaller, and then see if you can make that white background between them like a darker gold, might look like the diamonds are like like they're like encrusted in the gold. That would be super cool. So I suggest you try that. Your glow, the pop of glow that you have looks really good. Well done. Thank you. From Neil Kelly. And then this last one, Tony says, yesterday's challenge, I love anodized metal, which is why I chose the gradient for this metal. This is also a really great
Love it.
example of what we
Yeah.
just talked about. Oh, I love it.
I love the anodized metal look. I love that rainbow metal. I wish it came in pastel like this. Most of the time it's a little more like, it's a little more saturated and looks like kind of an
like
oil
more
spill
dramatic.
look. Yeah, but I love this pastel anodized metal.
Yes, this is
pretty.
great. Well,
I
well
love
done.
this background it's on too. The stripes
Mm-hmm.
across the background. I like it.
I feel like it adds a little something, but it also doesn't take
Yeah.
away from the boldness of the text.
Yeah. If anything, it sets off the sparkly metalness of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love it. Great job, Tim.
Very well done. I will check one more time to see if there's anything new, and there is not. So I'm gonna switch back over to your screen. Thank you everyone who submitted challenges to this, and maybe we've got about 10 minutes here before we have to take off. So Anne, why don't you do kind of a recap of what we worked on today and what the purpose was for anyone who maybe tuned in a little bit later.
Yeah, so today we worked on a board game that we built together, inspired by some of the virtual games that we play.
Yes.
And the theme this week for the Adobe Coloring Book is connection. And so that's how I've been connecting with my friends. We've been playing games online together and visiting each other's Animal Crossing islands. And I loved what we created together here in this board game. I kind of want to play it for real.
This is awesome.
And then I'll color this in, and then we'll also have the coloring book page for you to download and color in your own version. I think it'll be up next week.
Awesome. That is so cool. Yeah, I'm really eager to jump into these. I feel like so connected to it because I got to be here with you while you worked on this. So I'm definitely gonna have to snatch one of these up and paint it and post it.
Yeah, and I want everyone who does that to like tag me on it. So
oh yes, absolutely.
Exciting.
Absolutely will. And anyone who is interested in getting your hands on the files for these, I think Tim has a link for us that we can post into the chat so that anyone who wants to get involved and paint these up can. I'm super pumped for this. I love the fact that it was such a collaborative thing too, with people's suggestions and things into this. It makes it so much more awesome because now you guys can get a coloring page full of things that you actually had some cool ideas for, and it became real.
Yeah, it was because of you guys it turned out so cool, because my idea was just to have this path. And then to have, a couple trees and a character to start off on this path. But then you guys filled out the rest of it with me, and it was so great.
And that's what's so fun about doing these streams is a lot of times you end up with a painting that you never would have painted on your own otherwise because of the community, which is so fun.
And you guys are all so supportive and so nice in the comments.
Tim has posted, yes, there is the link to the Adobe Coloring Book. Thank you so much, Tim. I know that I feel very connected to this painting because there's a little haunted house on there. I love the haunted house.
And a fishing rod for you and for Gus.
Definitely. A little turn up there. And all this, I'm going to remember that all those things that I loved when I'm painting this in. How would you color it? So, I think that there's a lot of ways you could probably color it. You said it was going to be printed on, standard, computer sized paper.
It's 8.5 by 11. Oh, if you can paint it in Photoshop if you want to. You can also paint it in. I mean, you could color it in real life. You could print out a physical copy of it.
Very easy to print out.
Paint it on your iPad on any of the Adobe programs.
I would probably definitely pull it into Fresco. And give it a once over. This might be a really awesome opportunity for me to get more into the watercolor brushes.
I was just gonna say this might actually be a good opportunity for me to use Fresco and learn how to use the brushes, but very low pressure about creating anything and just be learning how to use brushes instead.
Yeah, very, very much so. Does anybody have, because we have just a few minutes here left with Anne. Does anyone have any questions that they want answered or does anybody have any just comments that they would like to share? Maybe, Anne, you can kind of tell us where everyone can find you on social media.
Definitely. You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter. I am at Ann Danger.
I love that.
Thank you. I see a question. What device do you use to draw? I use a Cintiq to draw here. That's what I was using today, is Cintiq 22 HD.
Nice.
And then I also have an iPad Pro that I draw on.
So can I ask you a question just about your, because I was actually thinking of getting the Cintiq that you are using. Do you have any like feedback on the product itself, and maybe you can just tell us a little about it?
Yeah, I love it. Mine is from 2015, so it's one generation older than what's available now. I love it. I'm able to toggle between stuff. One of my favorite things that I did was get this like keyboard rest that was like a secondary product that I found someone made, and my keyboard rests up here, and then I got an arm just off of Amazon so that I can move it lower over the table so it's more ergonomic, so that it's not up here, because my shoulder was hurting so bad from like drawing this high. And those are things I did to make this even more friendly to use, but I love having a Cintiq. Like I think you said you had the 13, and I started off with that the first few years that I was illustrating, and then the screen just got too small for me to do all the like client work I was doing, where it was more heavy duty coloring, and I know you do a lot of rendering on your so it would totally be worth the upgrade. My husband has the 24 one, which is the biggest one, and I actually think that's a little too big. He's a tall guy, so it works for him, but the 22 works perfectly for me.
So your husband's an artist as well?
He is. He's a storyboard artist, actually. He's an animator and storyboard artist. He works on Bob's Burgers.
That's amazing! That's so cool!
I love it. So you watch the show?
Yes. Oh yeah. Me and all of those characters have like about the same dance skills. It's I relate to it heavily.
I love it.
I love it.
And I think someone had asked in the comments earlier about how I toggle between pencil or brush and eraser, and it's actually just the B and the E keys on the keyboard, which I just have up here. You can kind of see my little fingers tapping, but you could also turn this around and erase with it, I think, if you have the settings set up. I don't have it set up right now, so that was a bad demo, but
another I think we might have mentioned this yesterday, but as far as like brushes and kind of hotkeys and things for brushes and erasers go, sometimes an interesting thing that I like to do, instead of I used to toggle between each brush, like I would go and like scroll through my like thousands of brushes that I have and like select the ones I want, and then use my slider to change the size and opacity. But I actually, if you folks maybe don't know, the newer version of Photoshop CC, you can actually make your own folders of brushes, and I just have like a folder. I love that it says Anne's faves. Mine's called Val's faves. Yes, it's like Val's faves, and I have like a little group of the things that I'm using most often at the moment, and I put all of my brushes in there. And you can actually make your brush larger or smaller by using the left and right bracket keys. And if you toggle,
I definitely do that.
1 through 0 on your keyboard, you can increase the opacity of your brush by intervals of 10.
I've done that on accident before.
Really? And you're like, why is this
like I pressed
happening?
a number and I'm like, why is it so faint now? This is not
what
the
heck? Yeah, I did that a few times before I realized what I was actually doing, and I was like, oh, this is actually really useful.
I saw Tim mention trying the tilde key. What does that do?
I think it turns your brush into an eraser.
Oh.
I think. You have to test it. Maybe test it real quick, and if you hold tilde, you should... Yeah, there you go.
Yeah!
Yes!
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome!
I love it.
It's definitely one of those hotkeys that I kind of want to add into my my usual things, but I'm so used to just reaching for that E key that it hasn't really become a thing.
On the Cintiq, there are buttons on the side that you can also program. So I also have my brush, like my hotkeys programmed here for the ones I use the most.
I never used buttons on any tablet I've ever had. I've just never used them.
I didn't either, except for this one, because I have my top one toggles the cursor between my two screens.
Oh,
That's
that's
really
great.
handy.
That's
You saw
awesome.
right now I was just like zooming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it jumps too fast for me,
Mm-hmm.
this little bar that slides, but so I still use the keyboard to do that.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
So we have got like a minute left, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
bring us to full screen, and we can say a nice goodbye to everyone. Thank you everyone for being here and hanging out with us. And it was an absolute joy being able to host you. It was so fun. Thank you very much for being here and creating wonderful art for us.
Thank you so much to everyone for joining us.
Oh, no problem. And I'm sure everyone is super excited to get their hands on these pages for the coloring book, so definitely keep an eye on that link that Tim posted because you guys will be able to color it in. And as Anne said, please tag her on social media if you color in the pages so she can see it. And yeah, that's all we've got for this segment. We've got the I believe if I pop over here, we've got the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge coming up with Andrew Hockrattle right after this. So please stay tuned. Blow up the chat with some emotes, folks, some emojis, because he does that for people at the end of his streams. We should do it for him. I want to see some emojis in the chat. Give it up for Anne and do a warm welcome for Andrew Hockrattle. That's all we have for you for this segment. Anne, thank you again.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time. Adios, everyone.
Bye.